Hey everyone, welcome back to the Practical Dad Podcast. It's me, your host, Joshua Fitchett, and I finally have my guest back in the room in the house with us. Mr. Mike Guess is here. He's the one who recorded a long time ago, and I forgot to push record or put the USB in. And so he was kind and gracious enough to come back and spend some time with us. And so let me introduce you to Mr. Mike Guess. Mike Guess, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
Man, glad to have you.
All right, and my schedule's not too full, so it wasn't any trouble to come back.
My schedule was a little full.
I'll bet it was.
So thank you for working your way back into my schedule. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Well, Mr. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your story.
I was born and bred, born, and raised here in Haskell County, out in the farm country, northeast part of Haskell County, in a little rural area called Matson. I went to school there through my freshman year. At that time, the school closed and consolidated with Haskell, and my mom and dad had built a house here in Haskell at that time, and we moved into Haskell, and I finished the last 3 years of school and graduated here at Haskell High School. After that, I really, within a week after the time I graduated from high school, I got married at the ripe old age of 18, and within the next year, had my first son, Chan. Went ahead and finished school at Texas Tech. Beth and I and Chan lived there through December 1974, and then moved back here to Haskell, where I started out just farming but was looking for full-time employment also. But I pretty well, until I retired, farmed part-time all my adult life, along with a full-time occupation, which went from started out managing cotton warehouse, then to buying cotton, and then going to work for Farm Credit. At that time, it was Production Credit Association in Stanford, Texas. Worked there for 20 years, and then went to work for First Bank Texas here in Haskell, and retired there after, would have been 11 years, and retired when I was, I was nearly 67, which has been about nearly 5 years since I retired. And in between that, really, right after Beth and I moved back to Haskell with Chan, then we had our second son, Mart, in 1975. All right. That's a little background.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah. So, what is your current youthful age?
71.
Yep, 71.
Going on 72.
And you had your first child at 18.
At 18. Well, yeah, I was still 18. I wasn't quite 19. Yes.
Wow. I didn't catch this the first time we talked. Maybe I did and forgot, but I don't think I did. You said you went to Tech while you had Chan with you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I started there in the summer of 1970, and he was born when I was a freshman in college there.
Well, I was going to ask this question to you as a father. What were some of your greatest challenges, and how did you face them? And so I'm going to specify that question. It seems that going to college and raising a child is pretty challenging. Was that challenging for you? Easy?
Josh, it was, looking back on it, it was very challenging. But I was young enough and ignorant enough, I didn't know any better. Beth was also, after Chan was born, went to beauty school, which was to be a hairdresser. We had one vehicle, so we had to work getting her to school, him to the babysitter, daycare. I went to school, then went to work. A lot of times she sat and waited on me just for me to get off work to pick her up, and then us go pick Chan up. there was a lot of patience on both our parts. And sometimes she'd take me to school, she'd take the car, and then I'd have to wait till she could pick me up along with her schedule, and I could get to work. And then, dealing with a toddler too all that time.
Yeah.
It really, I was going to school and having a little one like that, I did a lot of motherly things that I would not have done had we both been out of school, both had two vehicles,
Right.
kind of on regular schedules. But, some of the good times I had with Chan then was us just, of a morning go and get something to eat, and before I took him to the babysitter.
Wow. Big question. Were they cloth diapers?
Yes.
So you had to wash them?
We had to wash them.
Oh, goodness.
Sure did. We would, Pampers had come out, and whenever our parents would come, which I think our mothers really liked the Pampers, they'd bring a box of Pampers. So we'd get to, and if some of those were left over, we'd get to use them for a while. Yeah, that stinking diaper pail, as we called it. Yes, we dealt with that.
I don't even know what that.
Sure did.
I knew I wore some
Yes.
when I growing up, but I don't know what that. When you say the stinky diaper pail,
Yeah.
explain that because I.
Well, usually when you got that diaper off, you'd kind of rinse it or something, but you had a pail, a bucket about, probably wasn't as big as a 5-gallon bucket, but it was pretty good size. And Beth would have some kind of water and detergent or something in that would throw them in there until she got several of them, and then she'd wash them.
Wow.
Because we went for a while without a washer and dryer.
Oh, wow.
And then we finally, one Christmas, our parents got us one of those stacked little washer and dryers.
Wow.
So then we couldn't, at least, we didn't have to wait to go to the laundry to wash them. But
Wow. Well,
yeah.
why did you have a background in banking?
Yes.
Why didn't you just do what a lot of people do these days and just go get a loan or go get another credit card, buy another car, and put everything on debt and load yourself up?
It never even occurred to me, Josh. It honestly didn't. And I think a lot of that was the way Beth and I were both raised. Our parents didn't have credit cards. I know even when I was working at a Western store there in Lubbock, not many people used credit cards. It was kind of a rare deal. I would say 80 to maybe even 90% of transactions were with check.
Yeah.
And then the balance of that, nearly all of it was cash. But a few would use credit cards. And especially a loan. I mean, Josh, I got up to making $1.65 an hour on one of my jobs while I was in Lubbock, and there wasn't nothing left over to make a payment. I guess that's why it didn't ever occur to me to get a loan. And my dad was paying for my school. That's one thing he was determined I did, was to go to school. And he said, I'll pay for the school. You just pay for your spending money.
Wow. Praise God for that.
Yes.
I was thinking, you said checks, and there might be some super young people on here.
Yes. aren't accustomed to using checks.
They don't even know what a check is.
No.
So if you're listening, you don't know what a check is. It's a piece of paper basically that you sign, and it comes out of your bank account. So that's how they used to purchase stuff back in the day before you had your iPhone and just clicked it.
Yeah, they're the every once in a while, for you younger people, they're the older people like me that are occasionally in line, and they pull out, dig that checkbook out of their purse, and you have to wait till they get it made out. And honestly, I guess dealing with that enough after I got older, I actually even started using a debit card. Yeah.
So if you could go back to when you're 18, you're at Texas Tech, you're married, brand new married, have a toddler, knowing what you know now, maybe with finance or just in general from your experience, would there be any, what would you tell 18-year-old Mike? As far as being a father.
Yes. Okay. As far as being a father, be patient. Take the chores that go along with the responsibility of being a father, and realize. And I know it's tough to do when you're going through it, but that in later years, that's going to be some of your best memories of the things you did, and really when it was just you and that child, or you, your spouse, and that child. And the simple little things we did that was fun. I mean, at the time, it seemed like there was a lot of better things we'd have rather done.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I appreciate those memories and the small things we did. I mean, instead of taking a vacation, which we very seldom ever did, just trip out to the lake with picnic lunch or something, and all you were out was gas and what you spent on the picnic lunch was our entertainment. And at the time, we would have both rather done something more extravagant, but looking back, I wouldn't take for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. One of the blessings for me being in this church is had many senior adults who have seen their kids grow up and have kids and even graduate see their grandkids graduating. Is when Rachel and I got here, our child was almost one. The oldest was almost one. And ever since then, we popped out 3 more.
Yes.
Just boom,
yes.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
But every senior adult has always told us, embrace the times that you have with them, enjoy it, because it'll go by so fast. And once we heard that so many times, I mean, just the other day, waking up in the middle of the night, or them coming to our beds, kind of in the moment you can get frustrated or extremely tired and worn out. But I hear y'all's voices saying, embrace it. And I think about, man, one day it's going to be so quiet in this house.
Yes.
And there'll be no kids, no toys. So I do need to enjoy it, because it's a moment you'll never get back.
Exactly, Josh. And even with Elijah, your oldest being 6 years old, in another 10 years, he's going to be wanting to already be out of the house. And you're going to be thinking, dadgum, I wished he was in here crawling up in bed with me, instead of me wondering where he's at right now, or being worried about his own safety.
Right. Right, absolutely. So you have 2 sons.
Yes.
Chan and Mark. How many years apart are they?
They are, let's see, nearly 5 years. They like a few months being 5 years apart. Chan is 52, and Mark just turned 48.
Okay. And so I'm assuming they have the exact same personality, don't they?
No, absolutely not. There's a few things in both of them I can see that are the same, but the oldest one is a more patient, I think, laid back. I mean, Mart, the younger one, is have his ducks in a row. He travels a lot. I mean, he is married, but he travels. He and his wife travel a lot. He wouldn't go anywhere that he didn't know exactly where he was going to be 4 or 5 months before they leave. I mean, right down to where they're going to stay, what they're going to do that day, the first day, the second day. He plans everything out. And I think a lot of that, they have never had any kids. And the older one, Chan, has had 2, and I think he realizes you can plan everything and it isn't going to make any difference. You got to roll with the flow.
Yep. So between those 2 sons and their different personalities, is there anything in common between all of y'all? Do y'all get to, what is being a dad Because you're still a dad. You're still a father.
Yes, you are till you die. Yes.
What does being a father at your age look like?
Your common interest, and we're all, big fans of sports, and especially both of my boys went to Texas Tech also. We're big Tech fans. Ironically, this weekend, both my boys and their wives are going to be in Wyoming for the Tech Wyoming game. I mean, that's one of the ways they get to visit each other and see each other. The youngest one, and he lives in Alexandria, Virginia, he and his wife. But after that game, then they're flying back to Lubbock next Monday, and then they're going to stay a week there, and I'm going to be down there. Chan and Bridget will be there that next weekend, and that's our another time for us to get together. Of course, one of the driving forces is the Tech football game that weekend.
Right.
So I'd say common interest that really ties us together. Even with we have a joint text deal, and if one's doing something, he's taking pictures, sending it to the other two. We respond to each other based upon football, baseball scores, you name it. Anything that comes up that is of interest. My youngest one went to the Hall of Fame induction where Zach Thomas got inducted at Canton here a couple of weeks ago. Well, Chan and I was keeping up with it all day long, everything that was happening, because he was, not only that you could watch it on TV, but he was sending pictures and giving us play-by-play on what was going on. So we do enjoy those things together.
Good. Well, I want to commend you as a role model, just your faithfulness to love your children till the day that you pass. And I believe that if the Lord has you pass before them, and I'm thinking that you're probably saying, Lord willing, I will pass before them. I don't want to see them pass. But if that does happen, I imagine that your boys will go to a Texas Tech game, and they're going to miss you. But at the same time, they're going to be so thankful that they had a father who still was part of their lives, even at age 50 or however old they get.
I think that in any and using an analogy of a Tech game, I think both of them would say, I wish Dad was here today. He would enjoy this, especially if we end up winning.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, y'all enjoy the Tech game. I'm not sure if you instilled that into them on purpose or not, intentionally or not. What are some things that you desired to instill into your boys growing up? And how did you do that?
Be a good person. And beginning of that is that Beth and I took them to church. We had them in Sunday school. Beth was probably better in their younger days doing that. I was there, but it was a lot of times I might have been a little lazy and not gone, and know she was going to have them there for sure. And to some degree, if she was going to go and take them, I was going to be there. I wanted them to be a Christian, to grow up and know what is right and wrong in the eyes of God, and let that guide and coach them in their life decisions. One of the biggest things, of course, a lot of that came with me getting into banking, was managing their business and knowing that, at one point in time, I knew that I hoped that each of them would get married, have a family, and I knew that if they didn't take care of their finances, that created other problems that they'd have to deal with. And I wanted that to not be a problem for them. So I probably spent a lot of time, preaching financial and managing your business.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about finance in just a second.
Okay.
So if I forget, hold me to that.
Okay.
So you're seeking to raise your boys to be good people by firstly trying to lead them to the Lord, taking them to
Yes.
church.
Yes.
Are there some Sundays in there where they refuse to go to church?
No, not
Really?
to us. Not to us.
Wow.
Not while they were in our house. If we said we're going,
Yeah.
we're going. Now they might have grumbled not wanting to go, but they never. It might sound a little. They knew better than to say no. I'm not going.
Was that a common theme in that time frame, or is that just maybe unique to y'all's family?
No, Josh, I graduated with a class of 56 or 57, and I think if I went through my annual, I could tell you where every one of those kids went to church. I mean, there was it would have been a real rare deal if kids were not affiliated with some church.
It's the expectation of the culture.
That was in my age group. It had gotten, the culture had changed a little bit when I was raising my kids, but still, it was a lot like that. I mean, they knew their friends would be at church. So it wasn't something, it was a little bit of a social event to them also. I mean, they went to Sunday school with their friends that they went to school with. I mean, it wasn't like something they were going to go and be bored to death all the way through church.
Well, they didn't have an iPhone in their pocket.
They didn't have an iPhone in their pocket. They sure didn't. Yeah. I mean, they grew up at a time when it was probably the early 80s. Chan would have been 10 in 80, later 80. Mark would have been 5 before we even had cable TV.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't have but like 3 different channels. I mean, you didn't even have a big variety on TV, much less an iPhone where you could look and find everything you wanted.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. And when you were talking about finances and trying to help them with that, what are some practical things maybe you did or you wish you would have done that, some of these other fathers listening right now could apply to their lives?
One thing I wanted them to work, and I carried them with me. When I was out to the farm, they knew how to drive a tractor. They knew learned something about farming. I taught them one trait, but at the same time told them, I don't want you to do this. I want you to go to college and get something that your life will be easier and you can make more money. What money they had, we tried to teach them where it had to go, or, when that ran out, you didn't have any more till a certain time.
Yeah.
If they were working and had a job, they spent that money, but there was a limit. I mean, we had control of even what they made at a job. I know Chan worked for a plumber one summer, and that was hard work, and it was so much of it that he had to spend, and so much of it we put up for him.
Yeah.
For other things that he might need. But the main thing was him just tell him that money don't grow on trees. You might get to where you can't make it, so you better have some saved up.
Right. Man, that's so helpful. To the savings thing. I read, it wasn't saving. Well, it had to deal with savings, but it was like, I think it's over 50. I'll just use 50 to be safe, but they said 50% of Americans, I think they said, are one check away from being on the streets.
I would not doubt that in the least bit.
So we're in a culture where the majority of people really don't know what savings is, or they don't have self-control for savings.
Yeah.
And so you just being a father leading that, I mean, already sets them up for success because it's more than 50% not doing that.
In my experience, even working at the bank and having employees, the one thing I tried to encourage, and especially the younger ones, if it's just $5 or $10 that you put back or have taken out of your check, get it out, don't look at it, don't see it, you'll never miss it. And you don't know how that will grow over time. And yet I understand that when you're younger, with young families, that's when you need more money. But if it can just be a little bit that you put back, it'll make all the difference in the world. When you get to where you, like at my age, there's a limit to what I can do, and I'd say a limit to what I want to do. And I would hate to know I had to still punch the clock every day and work every day.
Yeah.
To start with, I don't know that I'd be the best employee in the world, just because I'm not young and can do the things I used to do.
Right. It's crazy that you say that, because honestly, from a young mind that people I've talked to, they don't really take the time to consider, what does it look like to be 60, 70? What does your energy look like? All those little questions. What does income look like? So that's important. So I'm going to switch hats on you. I'm going to ask you to switch hats from a father to your banking perspective. What are some things that dads should be considering as far as maybe retirement to be helpful in that area, or savings for their children? I mean, anything that you're thinking of that would help.
First of all, for someone that's younger like you, I would say the first thing you've got to do is figure out, and I say figure out, set goals that you want to meet based upon what you think your kids might want to do. All right. Will Elijah, Lucas, Grayson, Remy, are they going to go to college? Now, in you and Rachel's mind, that might be something you're saying, yes, they're going to do. Well, they may or may not, but you want, if you wanted a possibility of them being able to, then you have to say, what do we need to do to make this possible? And, with 4 grouped together like you've got, I'm going to say that is going to be a near impossible venture to save enough money to send all 4 of them to college at a time when they're going to be going.
Yeah.
Now, if they were all spread apart 4 years difference, that might be a more realistic thing to do.
I'm just going to vote for free college in the next election, Mike.
I disagree with doing that.
I'm just playing.
But knowing what college costs today, you can imagine what it'd be like. So then you have to say, kids, if I want my kids to go to college, and I know the possibility of me being able to fully fund it is virtually impossible, then what do I have to instill in them? One thing is good grades.
Yes.
Try to get themselves to have the potential to get scholarships of some sort, academic, maybe even sports, but preferably academic scholarships to get to that point. But you've got, even at that, they're going to probably need a vehicle. They're going to need a little spending money, money to eat on. So you're going to have to put back something, and you got to decide what would be realistic that I can do to get to that point when I'm going to need it.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good to start applying that as early as possible. Right?
Yes, and put it in, and I'm not a financial advisor, and there's people that are much better suited than that for me, but invest it. I mean, invest it in something that has a better chance of growing to where it'll be worth more money. I mean, $1 today is worth a whole lot more than that 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know a guy who, this is off topic, but a little, but he invested in one gold coin years ago. I can't remember how many years ago it was, but he invested in one gold coin, and his wife was saying, "Oh, he's crazy. I can't believe he's doing that."
Bad.
And then gold skyrocketed.
Yes.
And he banked on that. But, doing your research, those sorts of things
Right.
before.
And there's things you can invest in that have good returns. Some, the better returns come with things a little riskier, but it's where your comfort level is.
Yeah.
But one thing is, you don't put it in your mattress, because then $1 saved today is just worth $1 10 years from now.
Can you explain that to us as far as how it relates to inflation? Because that may be something some people don't know about. Why can't I just put $100 in my closet in my shoe, and why? What's wrong with that?
Because it's just going to be worth that dollar in the future. Now, historically, that dollar's going to buy less. I mean, even on probably average inflation, and I hate to start quoting the Fed always wants to try to keep us at 2%. So I'm going to guess historically it's probably been closer to 3%, and I'm not for sure about that. But, you need to make 3% on that dollar every year. I mean, it'd be $1.03 next year, and then be 3% of $1.03, just to keep up with what that $1 will buy today.
Wow.
So you really need it making a better rate than what inflation is.
Yeah. So at minimum, if it's not making anything, 0% by being in your mattress or whatever, you're actually losing.
You're actually losing buying power.
It's losing value.
Yes,
you
are.
I think that'll be helpful for a few people.
Yeah.
Who, we have all sorts of listeners on here, some with college degrees, some not. And so I think that would be helpful. You were talking about a minute ago the importance of planning your finance for your kids, but also how you took your boys out to the farm and showed them those work. My dad, he really gave his life to others, his parents, those sorts of things. And so he basically had a minimum wage job growing up, and he had 3 of us boys and his wife, my mom. And I remember one specific situation. It was a cold winter day. He came in through the living room door, and right there's probably a 3x3 foot section of tile, and then everything else was carpet. And so he walked in and stayed there on the tile, and he told my mom to go get him some towels. So he worked for the city.
Yeah.
And he was out there in the middle of the night changing a water leak so that the city would have water. The city would have water to drink and flush toilet, all those sorts of things. Once your water's gone, you realize how important it is.
How important it is, yes.
And so I was laying on the floor on my stomach doing my homework, and he said, "Look at me." And I looked at him, and he was like, kind of like that purple red color when you're in the water for so long, and you're pretty cold. And he was just drenched, and water was coming down. And he said, "Take a good look at me." He goes, "This is why I want you to study hard in school, so that you don't have to do this job when you get older. You need to go get an education, work inside where it's not hot or cold." And I just will never forget that day.
Yeah, it made an impression on me.
Just one example.
And being that, whatever reason it came over him, I know he was thinking it had been a bad day or night.
Yeah.
And he really didn't want y'all to have to do that.
Yeah.
And thank goodness he said it. But yes, farm life can be a great life, but there's a lot of hard manual work. You never know for sure if all the work's going to be pay you at the end of the year. That was one reason I'd really didn't want my boys going into farming.
Yeah.
And of course, my dad and Beth's dad were both farmers. That's all they did all their life. And it was a good life for them, and they did well. But I know growing up, and I know Beth growing up, there was a lot of times that they did without things, and we did without things, when deep down me and my brother thought, why don't we go do it? We know you had a good crop, but he was thinking about, well, what if we don't next year?
Right.
You know, they were always, even if you had a good year, you had to worry about the next 2 years or whatever. My dad, my father-in-law, they both were young men with young families in the 50s, and anybody old-timer you talk to here in Haskell County will tell you about the drought of the 50s. I mean, it basically went 4.5 years with literally no raining. I mean, or very little, and didn't make any crops. You know, all those farmers were out, you know, working on bridge crews, highway, anything they could find, working at the gins in the fall for what little cotton was made, trying to gin it, and they learned that if you make some money, you better hold on to it.
Well, we've had a rough month and a half or so without the rain, and I can only imagine what that looks like.
Yeah, and if you drive around and look at the cotton crop right now, the dry land, it's becoming very obvious that the weather is taking its toll on it.
Mm-hmm. So what does a conversation look like when, you know, you're out there having to work really long hours on the farm, or when you're having to pinch some pennies? What does that conversation look like for your child when they want to go do something and you just don't have the funds to do it? How did that work out for you?
Well, really, the example, I was born at the beginning of what I was just describing you, that 50s drought. So I was 5 years old in 57 when it finally started raining. So all those drought years, I had all I want. I had something to eat and a warm place to sleep. So I didn't realize. I remember my dad working other jobs besides just farming. But my point is that after that time, from 1957 or 8 till I graduated from high school, this county, I don't know that it missed a crop in those years. Now, some of them weren't real good, but we a lot of times didn't do things. That was my point when I felt like maybe we could afford it, but Daddy still had in his mind that it could all go away, and I've got to save some for that day when it's not raining.
Did he teach you that?
Yes, he said, he said, you better save some back. He said, it won't always be good. And one of the other things is that even though Beth and I got married right after I got out of high school, I honestly, I did not realize I had a choice as to go to college or not. My dad, he instilled in me that I had to go to college. And when I say had to, I honestly thought I had to.
Right.
And, I mean, when we got married, he said, well, I'm going to pay for your college. And, of course, it didn't cost near as much back then, but I know things weren't near as expensive, and it probably hurt him. I mean, it cost him in a way just as much as it would today.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want me, as your dad didn't, to have to depend on farming and not knowing what next year will bring.
Yeah.
He wanted me to have something that I could depend on to have money all my life.
Well, my dad's example, I think your dad's example of you kind of what is it? You play the hand that you're dealt.
That you're dealt, exactly.
And you play it as well as you can in order to help set up your child so that they don't have to play that same hand.
Yes, exactly.
And I think we just got that from the example.
Yeah. You always want your kids to do better than you did. And there's nothing, be it in sports, academics, jobs, and I've got sons that are middle aged now. Nothing gives you more joy than their successes. I mean, even in athletics, that them being successful was a lot more fun than me ever being successful.
Yeah.
It was made life great. It was fun to watch them succeed.
How do you so you make mistakes. We all make
Oh,
mistakes. As a father, what mistakes did you make that you're willing to share? That would be helpful for us. And what have you learned from that? What would you do? How would you change it?
Oh gosh, Josh, I was pretty hard on I disciplined my boys. I used a belt on them. Looking back at my age now, there's times I can go back and try to, and I don't think I did anything wrong, but I couldn't do that again. Looking back on it, I think in the end, it was probably the right thing to do. Mart, as I mentioned, is more bullheaded. Probably I would, I won't say be rougher on him. I saw his personality different.
Yeah.
And I might have allowed that to be a little more free roaming if I had it to do over again. And yet, if I had he might have turned out totally different.
Yeah, that's
I don't
the hard
know.
part.
I mean, he's been successful, so
Yeah.
I guess I pray that what I did was right.
Right. What you're saying is you would maybe relook at how you disciplined them. You would still discipline them.
Yes.
But you would relook. I'm learning what you just said as far as the different personalities and disciplining them according to their personalities and learning, because discipline is trying to get them to understand that the path they're going on is not a good path. It's a bad path. It's going to be harmful to you. And we want to warn you that there's a better path for you if you really care about yourself. And I've got a hard-headed child. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, and that's a struggle trying to figure out that.
And I think that's what I'm trying. I mean, I loved them both equally, but they had different personalities. Looking back when I disciplined Mart, I could see the look in his eyes that he was mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
And with Chan, it seemed like it was a relief to get that off his shoulder. I've always kidded him about, sometimes he'd tell us things we'd just soon not known.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to get it. He didn't want to have to worry about it.
Couldn't deal with the guilt.
He didn't want to deal with it. If I got to be punished, punish me. Let's get this over with and be done with it.
Yeah.
And Mart was more the type that could hold it in, and then if you did finally find out about it, then of course that upset me for it being withheld from me, or you trying to get away with something. And I think sometimes he might have felt like, well, I nearly did, and if you hadn't have known about it, we'd both be happier. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're just different personalities, and I know I'm sure both, if you viewed them, they'd both have a different opinion on what I could have done better or worse.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned, we're going to coming to a close here, but you mentioned on the last time that we interviewed and didn't record, you talked about using different tones of voice. Do you remember sharing that?
I do. I mean, And I'll backtrack to what I was saying. I was a disciplinarian, and they knew they were supposed, if they needed to, I won't say try to please, they knew they better go by my rules. I had different tones of voice. I mean, I had one that I think I described it as a freeze in your tracks sound.
Yes.
And if I hollered in that sound, I think they basically did. It's like, stop where you're at, And my reasoning for that always was, as little boys, I didn't want one. I had witnessed kids running a little wild, and their, especially mothers saying, "Oh, little Joey, stop doing that," or "Hey," hollering, and they just kept going. I didn't want to think that one of mine could run out in the street and them not pay any attention to me saying, "Stop."
Yeah.
I mean, in a tone that they thought if they were in midair, they better freeze right there, or they were going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I did it not, I guess in a way, yes, to put fear in them, but I wanted for their own safety.
Yeah, it's a protection.
For protection for them, yes.
Yeah. Well, I was in class. Since we've had that interview, I took a counseling class. And in that class, the professor was talking about, depending on the family, the tone of voices change. Some people, their families are just, they're yelling all the time, but that's just how they talk.
Yes.
Not necessarily how they talk.
Yes.
That's how they communicate, is through yelling.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you kind of face that danger of you yell at your kid to stop and they just think you're regular talking.
Conversation, yes.
He mentioned also how in some families, like, there was never any yelling, no raising of voices. But the moment mom or dad said your name, like your middle name,
yes,
you knew you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's another form of doing it.
Yeah.
But as long as it hits a light or their mind, it's like walking. We don't even think about walking. Well, as long as their mind gets set to that sound, means stop in thought or whatever, stop moving. Let's see what happens next before I make another move.
Right.
And that could be in Michael Allen, from my mother, to me with my voice saying stop or Chan or Mart in a tone I'm not going to say never heard, because they heard it a few times, but they knew when they heard it, they better stop where they're at.
I've been trying to practice that more at the house when they were doing something, and I would raise my voice to make them stop at something.
Yes.
And I saw them freeze up. Though, whoop.
Yeah.
And but mom, they know if mom says their middle name, Elijah Royce, he knows. I'm in trouble.
I have done something wrong. Yes. And one works as good as the other.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's the brainwashing. I mean, in a way, it's a brainwashing tactic.
Yeah.
But it's one for their protection.
Yeah. But it shows that our communication is important and can be effective. And so we need to be intentional with how we speak to our children.
Yes.
So that they know when dad raises his voice or says your name firmly, there's no more playing around.
Yes.
It's stop. And that's for safety and protection. And
yes.
knowing when. I tell my children, I'll tell the boys all the time. It just happened by accident one day. I don't remember what they were doing. They were doing something inside somewhere. And I said, "Boys, is this a playground?" And they said, "No." I said, "Then don't act like it's a playground." But ever since that moment, I have a conversation. I'll pull them over and I said, "Boys, is this a playground?" "No, it's not a playground." I said, "A playground is outside. When you're out there, I want you to play as hard as you can, have as much fun as you can. But when you're inside, it's not a playground. You sit down and act appropriate." Yeah. And many days before school now, I'll tell them, "I want you, when you're in the classroom, I want you to study as hard as you possibly can. You don't have to get straight A's. you just do your best. When you're on the playground, you have as much fun as you possibly can and enjoy it. I just want to help them learn the differences of we have to be responsible and enjoy every moment that we have. And so
that in you're teaching them something that they will learn and will teach their own kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something to be passed down.
Yeah. Well, Brother Mike, I've appreciated your time. You've spent a lot of time with us. Is there any final words you would want to say to any fathers out there?
Pray a lot. Try to be the best man you can be of yourself, because for you fathers who still have kids that you're raising, they see what's going on, and they don't miss anything. And you're the example that they need. And in today's world, where today I heard a deal where it's only 30% of our kids that are in 30% of our kids have a mother and a father at home. There's 70% with one parent, and nearly all of that is a mother. And it is one of the reasons that we have a lot of the problems we have in today's world. Be patient. I mean, being a father is not easy, and it would be so easy to run off and leave that responsibility to somebody else, and we see it in our world today. But you're, as a father, I think you're one of the main fabrics of a great nation.
Well, I appreciate you, Mike. I know the listeners are thankful for you, and so appreciate you coming in one more time.
I enjoyed it. Sure did.
All right, everyone. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Well, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. As always, if there are questions or comments or ideas or thoughts, just whatever it is that you have, go ahead and email us at practicaldadpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is practicaldadpodcast@gmail.com.